Hi, I'm Court, social media strategist and consultant, and in the year of 2025, the ever-ending chaos in the social media industry, I'm here to help you show up in a way that is authentic to you and stops you from chasing the algorithm gods. Since you know literally nothing about me, let me introduce myself and give you a little bit of my background. I've been a part of the social media landscape for 6 years. I've grown my personal TikTok to 42,000 organically, Instagram 5,000 organically, and YouTube 2,700 organically. I've created UGC content for brands like Allegiant Airlines, and I've spent the last 3 years as a social media manager for businesses getting results like this. And in a very, very past life, I was in the field of education, which brings me to today, taking my love and passion for social media and teaching it to other people. My two inspirations that I follow for social media creation advice are Katie Seckley and Vanessa Lau, and I highly recommend you follow them. 2025 has already been pure chaos. Platforms are changing, copying each other, some are disappearing for 15 hours, coming back. Creators are burning out, and people are starting to ask, is social media even worth it anymore? In the year of 2025 in social media, I feel like the industry, the landscape is the most chaotic and volatile it's ever been. What it used to feel like was there would be some tips and advice, and you could typically walk out those tips and follow that strategy, and you'd be good for like 1 to 3 years before something would change. If you're like, that's crazy, I've never seen that, I'm talking about like OG social media in the days. We've kind of sped up, and now we're in this space where the landscape is ever changing. I'm talking day to day, sometimes hour to hour, and it's really hard to keep up, and it's really overwhelming. And a lot of businesses know that they need social media, but they are just overwhelmed and stressed out and don't know where to start. And that makes sense because unless you have a full-time social media consultant or manager in-house, you are going to be chasing your tail. It's literally my job and it's my profession, and some days I will learn something new that has changed, and 2 hours later something else has changed, and it's really hard to keep up with even when that's my actual job. So the goal of this video is to first of all validate that the craziness you're feeling is straight up crazy. Even people in the industry that understand what's happening are feeling that way as well. I want to talk about what you don't need to be worrying about, and then I want to tell you what will bring you success at a very high level in the year of 2025. So first, let's dig into what we're not going to worry about. We are not going to worry about being on every platform. And I say that with a little asterisk because the ultimate goal down the road is you do want to have a diversified presence on multiple platforms for search purposes. When people are searching for what your company offers, you do want to have a diverse presence. And we're not going to start there, because if we start there, we're going to burn out. We're not going to have a sustainable plan, and then we're never going to get anywhere. So we're not going to worry about that right now. 2, you do not need to chase every single trend. Trends can be really great, and when you leverage them appropriately and you work them into your brand in a strategic way, amazing. I'm a trend girly, but I'm also a strategy girly. Not every single trend you see is going to work for your brand. I'm actually going to bring in something my therapist taught me. When you're feeling something that feels like urgency and panic, you're like, I have to get this trend. I have to get this before it goes away. That's a very real feeling. Trends are very short-lived. And when you are operating from that space, it's from chaos and emotion. And we do not want to create from that space. We want to have a well thought out strategy where we are observing and bringing in trends when applicable in a timely way. Probably doesn't sound like there's much of a difference there, but I promise you there is. 3, you do not need to post every single day or go viral to grow your business. This is kind of a myth that's been floating around, that you need to be posting every single day or you won't see success. And it's an and situation. You should be posting consistently as much as you are able to in a sustainable way. I think the sweet spot for success is posting 3 to 4 times a week. If that is not sustainable to you and you post 3 or 4 times a week for like 30 days and then you drop off and don't post anything for 30 days and come back, that's actually going to hurt you. Post as much as you can in a sustainable way. Going viral isn't everything it's hyped up to be. Going viral for the correct reasons, that is perfectly associated to your brand and will actually result in sales, is one thing. But sometimes what happens is when you go viral, you are, instead of talking to this core audience that you want to be your consumer, you are then spread out in 50,000 different directions. Yes, it will get you visibility. Yes, it will get you engagement. So going viral is a really good tool to boost the engagement and then post really good content after that. but going viral isn't going to change your business overnight in most cases. I would just recommend stop chasing viral and start focusing on strategic content. So on the flip side, here are the things I would be asking yourself. One, does every post I'm putting out have an intention? That's a really good one. That's where we should all be starting. Every post that goes out should be strategic and have intention. And please don't confuse that with spending hours on a piece of content, overthinking it, dissecting it. That's not what I'm referencing. I'm saying we're not posting just to post. There has to be an intention behind it. And two is we want it to be goal focused. What I mean by that is, what are you hoping to achieve from this piece of content? Are you wanting awareness? Like you want reach, that it goes to more people so there's more brand awareness? Are you wanting more engagement? So comments that you can go back and forth and build a relationship. Each piece of content should have a goal attached to it so we have a way to measure it. And number three, is what I'm saying worth holding on to and remembering? You are fighting with hundreds of competitors in your industry. Is what I'm saying, one, going to stop the scroll and get their attention? Because that's the first shot you have, is to stop the scroll, get their attention, and make yourself stand out, which we're gonna talk a little bit more about in a second. But two, am I saying something that is actually valuable, that is worth remembering? Those are kind of the three things I would focus on and stop stressing about the things we talked about before. And now I want to introduce you to my overall framework that I think if you use it, it will bring you success. So we're not going to get super deep into detail. I'll probably do that in another video. But at a high level view, when I am sitting down to create a content calendar for myself or for a client, I am looking at these three things. So the first thing I focus on is building content around brand awareness. These are the posts that are going to stop the scroll, get someone's attention, shake up the status quo, and get people curious and wanting to know more about your brand. There are a lot of different ways you can do this, and I am always a believer in doing it in a way that feels authentic to you. Essentially, you're thinking about, what can I do that will get people to pause and be like, I want to know more about this. Those are brand awareness posts. Number two, I call drive action content. So this is the content that's very analytical, very technical, talking about the specs, the features of your product. This is kind of where you're going to sell directly. This is a great time to talk about promotions, conversions, stats, statistic, 40% of people said this after using it. This is where you're going to get really technical and be very direct in the ask of, if you're interested in this, click here to buy. You don't want all of posts to be that way because it's a turnoff and it's kind of obnoxious when you're following a brand and literally they don't talk about anything but just the technical part. Social media is meant to be social, and we are talking about connecting humans to humans. This can be a part of the strategy, but this should not be your whole strategy. Third thing is fostering loyalty. So this is where we're really going to talk about the brand's missions, the values. We are going to get people to buy in emotionally, and these are the type of posts that are going to keep them coming back beyond the first scroll, the first time they saw you. I'll start with a baseline percentage of each of these categories for the first month of creating a content plan. And from there, after I have 30 days of data, I will analyze it, see what performed well, figure out why it performed well, and then tweak the percentages based on that from there. At this point, you might be thinking, hold up, so am I supposed to abandon all best practices and not listen to anything any of the platforms are saying? That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when you build a core foundational strategy, that is going to do most of the work for you. Yes, you want to be aware of best practices, and when you can apply those in addition to the foundation you've already built, that's going to help you. It's not going to hurt you. And if we are constantly flexing and changing to all of the changes, we are going to start showing up as an unpredictable presence on social media. So the goal is to build a strong foundation that we know has a strategy behind it, and then slowly pull in these other things where we have capacity to and where it makes sense to. And that brings us to the end of video one. My intention with this channel is to help you cut through the noise and really focus on a strategic, authentic strategy that works for you. So if that sounds like your vibe, like the video, subscribe, stick around, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.